Yes, we do give thanks for life and a mighty life given. We give thanks for all those of you who are live with us today, those of you who are live with us on Kailash Television. This evening we're going to be having a wonderful program, and it's going to be a bit of a dramatic program when it comes to the whole aspect of the area of wellness that we are going to be focusing on. But it is an issue that most people actually ignore, but it's an issue that actually deserves a lot of attention, because a lot of us now, growing up, it was something that we used to do very often when it comes to the whole realms of taking care of ourselves. But nowadays, it's not something that is done as we used to before, just because of the fact that people don't really, practice the ancient cultures of our ancestors. And the reason why I said that I'm going to do this program tonight, so I'm going to show you certain things that's going to just be appearing a bit disgusting, because lots of us actually consume all types of foods, all types of foods people actually consume, and most time people have dogs and they have pussycats and they have animals, and they often deworm these animals. So tonight we are going to be looking at parasitics, different types of parasites, and the reason why we are looking at these types of parasites, like worm infestation, it is because it's one of the things that is actually most ignored. People hardly talk about infections with worms and people with worms. And as long as you are, my audio is low. Okay, probably it's, I don't know, it should be very high. Let me just make sure that, let me take off something here. That audio should be better now. Give thanks. So as long as it is that, especially that you are eating dead animals, as long as you are eating dead animals, what would happen is that you would definitely, be infested with parasites, worms. So this evening we are going to be looking at how is it that the worm actually affects you, and growing up, we used to get the dewormers at least 3 times every year, 3 to 4 times every year. We'd get a dewormer, would get actually cleansed of worms. I remember basically going to school, primary school, probably when I was at the age of 8, 9, 10, and most times what would be happening is that some child would start to cry because a worm would literally be wiggling out of the anus of that child, and growing up, you always used to be pulling out worms. Remember, growing up, people would be pulling out worms from the anus all the time. So sometimes when you go and defecate, you'd feel this little thing wiggling, out of your anus, and some children would cry, and their mother would come and literally pull out the worm out of the anus. Nowadays, people don't really be pooping out any more worms. The reason why we used to be pooping out worms before is because specifically what would happen is that we would be taking bitter foods and bitter herbs to actually, take out these worms from our physical structure. So this evening I want to focus primarily on the whole aspect of parasitic infestations, like worms that actually live with us, live within our physical structure, and eat the great majority of our foods. So sometimes when you eat your food, and you believe, well, okay, all right, that you eating the bulk of your food, the bulk of your food is most of the time literally eaten by the parasites inside of you. So sometimes you would believe, well, okay, you want to eat something sugary, or you want to eat something sweet, you want to eat a particular type of food, but the food that you are eating, right, is not basically the food that you need to eat or the food that is good for you, but it's the food that the worms that you have inside of you is telling you that you actually need. And most times, if someone has a dog, a puppy, what would happen is that people would literally be, you would literally be deworming that puppy every 3 months. So every 3 months you have to deworm your dog. So you ask yourself, you know, how often are you deworming yourself, right? So if it is that you are deworming your dogs every 3 months, how often are you deworming yourself? Ask yourself that question. And most times what is happening is that people are actually cooking, like growing up. Yeah, if you cook some chicken, or you cook some pork, or you cook some fish, or you cook some all type of food, the man would be literally eating up the bulk of the food, the most of the food, and the rest of the bones and the little gravy that's remaining in the pot is actually what you would give the dog, right? Now, if it is that the bulk of the food, the bulk of the flesh, you are consuming it, right? Why is it then that you would literally, why is it that literally you would be deworming the dogs more than you actually deworming yourself? So I'm just going to play some simple little videos just to actually show you like the hookworm cause and symptoms. These videos are right there on YouTube. So I'm going to be playing it, and I'll be just highlighting it for you, so at least you could see exactly how these creatures, because they are creatures that literally live inside of you, right? And dwell with you, you know, and make you feel like eating certain stuff, controlling your mind, make you grind your teeth, make you scratch your earnest, make you feel like eating sugary foods, just because they have that power within them, because they are parasites. Some of them live in the eye, some of them live in the lungs, some of them live all different types of areas. So we're going to look at the hookworm. Let me just
Hookworms are a parasite that causes an infection in the small intestine, skin, and lungs in humans. The two species of hookworm that predominantly infect humans are Necator americanus and Ancylostoma duodenale. Both species are prevalent and thrive in hot, moist areas of Asia, Africa, and the America. Necator americanus is present mainly in the Americas, Sub-Saharan Africa, Indonesia, and China. Ancylostoma duodenale is present in North Africa, the Middle East, and India. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimated that hookworm infections occur in about 576 to 740 million people worldwide.
So what they're saying is that hookworm infections are affecting 500 to 700 million people worldwide. It's a poor thing. We don't have a speaker in the studio today, so you're not really hearing what they are saying. But what they're saying specifically is that the hookworm affects up to 500 to 700 million people.
Mostly affects people in developing nations, in the tropics and subtropics, due to poor sanitation and hygiene. Children who frequently have hookworm infections can experience slow growth and mental development from losing iron and protein.
So what they're saying is that children that has been infected with hookworm, what happens with them is that they experience very slow growth and poor mental development, because the worms are literally sucking off most of the iron. You know, so you're not hearing this on the Instagram live feed because, you know, we are live on television, but you know, normally we would have had a speaker in the studio so you could have actually heard it, but tonight you won't be hearing it at all. But what they're saying is that children actually have poor mental development and also have also very slow growth rates just because of parasitic infections. You know, so sometimes you might be looking at your child and wondering why the child is so thin and why the child is so small, not understanding that the reason why the child is so small is because of the worms, the parasites that are actually eating the bulk of the food of that child.
Causes. A hookworm infection is caused when a person gets in contact with contaminated soil that carries their larva. The eggs of the hookworm get to the soil through human feces. They hatch into larvae and stay in the soil until they have a chance to penetrate the human skin.
So what they're saying is that specifically, that video that you are watching is that the hookworm, the larva of the hookworm specifically, is found in the soil. And where they come from is from feces, excrement, that is actually within the soil. And then the larva of that hookworm, could actually get within your paws. And also, most times what people would do is that people would specifically, sometimes people use the washroom, they go and free up, and go and ease off the bowels, and they wipe, and then they never wash their hands, and then that same person will come and shake your hands. Well, how you doing? How you doing, my brother? How you doing, my brother? That's why we don't shake hands like that at all. Why? Because, you know that specifically, the majority of people, they don't even practice good sanitary practices whereby they say, well, okay, well, I'm going to, after they use the washroom, they're going to actually wash their hands properly, So sometimes, for instance, you have to be a real professional wiper, that when you go and wipe, that probably a little feces, a little poo-poo will get on your hands, something, and even when you flush the toilet, as you flushing, everything is, there are lots of particulate, right, that actually just flies right back up from the toilet bowl. That's why it's important that while you are flushing the toilet, that you close the toilet bowl, that all these things don't just fly back up and reinfect you. So sometimes people urinate, they pee, and when they pee, they don't even wash their hands, right? Sometimes people actually, after they poo-poo, they don't wash their hands, So it's very, I would say, disgusting sometimes to see how people actually deal with themselves. And when you have parasitic infections, what the worms do, the worm does literally like come out of the anus, and lay the eggs on the rim of the anus. So they'll wiggle their way out through the anus and lay the egg on the rim of the anus, right? And then because the eggs are on the rim of the anus, it makes you scratch, right? And when you scratch around your anus, right, you just pick up some of these eggs, and then you go to somebody and you say, hey, John, what you say, my brother? High five, bam. And there John has some of these eggs there on his hands, and you go and shake John's hand or Jimmy, or one of these people their hands, and then you are passing all these worms and all these things there right onto these people there specifically. So a lot of the times when it comes to hygiene, people's genes are not high at all. You have low genes because of the level of nastiness that people actually deal with. So let us just continue here.
And move up in the airspace of your lungs, after which they are coughed up into the throat and swallowed back. Once digested, they move to the small intestine, where they grow into adults. They can live in the small intestine for a year or more before passing through your feces. A person...
So what we're saying is that even if the worms actually, right, let's say you dig in the soil or you flush the toilet, and then the larva, which is basically a semi-developed aspect of the worms, right? When that larva now gets into your nostrils, you breathe it into your lungs, it elicits what we call a cough reflex. So you're going to be coughing, cough. And when you cough, and that mucus actually comes up, you swallow some back down right into your stomach, and then these larvae actually gets right into your gastrointestinal system, your small intestines, and then they begin to actually replicate, right? And that's where, that's how it happens. And then these little parasites begin to grow, they begin to feed upon you and multiply. And when these worms lay eggs, they lay thousands and thousands and thousands of eggs, right? So these worms could actually, literally be spread apart. So like if it is that you are in a house and people share towel, or people share rags, or them kind of personal effects, definitely the majority of the people in that household going to have this parasitic infection. So when it is that you want to know, well, whether someone has worms, if you see someone, every chance they get, they are moving their backside on a chair. When they're sitting down, they're trying to scratch their backside on the chair. Or, you have to watch out if you don't shake their hands. Or someone who secretly, go and hide in a corner to scratch their body, the anus. There's someone that their hands are always scratching the anus. More than likely, when they have worms, the parasites are laying eggs around the rims of the anus. And these worms, they are getting on these people's fingers. And then they're trying to come and shake your hands to actually get you infected. I mean, it's not deliberate, but you know how nasty people could be. People sometimes are very nasty. They are also saying that walking
soil or by ingesting soil particles that have been contaminated with their larvae. You can also get the infection through your pet's stool if they have the infection. Signs and symptoms. People infected with hookworm can show some of the following symptoms: abdominal pain, nausea, fever.
So we say now that some signs and symptoms of hookworm infections are abdominal pain. So if you always have abdominal pain, watch out. Nausea, meaning that you feel nauseous. You have a loss of appetite. You have itchy rashes. You have fever. All these different things are different signs of parasitic infections. And of course, as we say, the scratching of the anus continually, right? And also people who grind their teeth. So if you see someone always like this, grinding their teeth, that's also, right, an aspect of what you'd be calling signs of parasitic infection, just because of the continual grinding of the teeth and scratching up of the anus. All them things, they are specific signs, right? Very, very specific signs of parasitic infection. They also have weight loss. People get very small. You have diarrhea because your intestinal tract is trying to actually remove these parasites. You have extreme tiredness, weakness. All these things, they are very specific signs of parasitic infections. And also you have anemia because these parasites would literally be sucking up your blood. So it is very important that we understand that. And worms can be not only within your feces, or in your intestines. Worms can actually be in the eyes, in the lungs, in the skin. There are different places whereby, worms can actually be extracted from people. Right? So I'm going to show you some videos of how disgusting, sometimes, people are complaining of all types of things. I'm going to show you a short video of the removal of a worm from the eye, and it is not to get you afraid. It is just to show you the reality of how things are happening within the physical structure. And you might believe, well, these things, there are things that
now we can see some
are not real
tubes,
but these things, they are very, 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 very real. Give me a second. Let me just mute this here, so at least, I'll mute the volume, so I could just bring you through it, because it's not all the time that how do I mute this thing here? Okay, there's supposed to be a mute button here. Bang, 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 bang. Yes. Okay. All right, I feel I have it now. Let me just show you here, so you could see on the screen. I'm just gonna switch the camera so at least you could see on Instagram also on my screen how it looks. All right, so at least you could see the removal of the worm from the eyes.
Out. And you'll be astounded to see the length of this.
So you could see, like, worm. They are literally pulling out this worm out of the eye of someone. You understand? Now, so these worms, they're parasites. So you might believe, well, okay, well,
I feel that
worms are only in your intestines, but these worms there are, that's a surgical removal
putting the rest of the worm back
of the worm out of the eye of someone. And remember that most times that people have worms, these worms don't only just come from, let's say, you are talking about this worm actually coming out of sometimes you have a pussycat, you have a dog, you know, you have family that actually are infested, and just because of the way that they are living, poor sanitary being, these people there would actually get you infected with worms also. And remember that a lot of these worms there, you could actually control these infections, right? Just because of the way that you actually take care of yourself, right? And there are people with worm infection so bad, right? The infection is so bad that literally the whole intestine is not something that you could, it's not an infection that you could actually just take out just like that. It's an infection that you might have to literally take out surgically because of the amount of parasites, right? The amount of worms that these people are infested with. So I'm going to show you this little video here of some severe tapeworm infections. I'm talking about real severe infections whereby the people, you know, literally, and especially people eating dead animals, you know.
So here before us,
so you got this.
Wow. The largest station Dr. Nyashira has ever seen.
In southern Sahara.
She will never eat spaghetti ever again.
Right, so these are worms literally filled in the intestine. So you can imagine that these people are living, you know, and the intestines is literally just filled with parasites. You know, you could see that. So the intestines are literally filled with parasites. So that person there, right? If you live with this person, more than likely, brother, you have as much or as little worms as this person here, because they will be constantly scratching. So you could imagine how many, that colony of worms. So the intestine is literally just filled with worms. Ugh. You know? And I'm saying that people who literally always are cleansing themselves, the dogs, you know, people are always, you know, giving dewormers to their dogs, and they're not taking a time out to say, well, they are going to take a dewormer to actually cleanse out their own physical structure. And these type of worms, you know, are worms that literally are continually affecting people, especially when it is that you are eating dead animals, right? You are practicing, you know, what they call habits that are not sanitary, whereby you literally not washing your hands after you use the toilet. You know, you're just practicing nasty habits. You know, you're not taking good care of yourself. You are, you know, after you poo poo, you scratching, you washing. You're not even washing your hands. You know, you just use the tissue paper, and then poo poo gets on your hand, right? And then you're just there. You know, so it is very important that we understand that just up full sanitary habits, you know, could actually keep these dirty, stinking parasites out of your physical structure, because they are parasites. They're going to be sucking on your blood, right? They're going to be infecting you. Some of them are going to be killing you, end up in your lungs, end up in your heart, end up in your eyes. You know, so there are very simple ways that you could actually deal with that. And there are tapeworms. There are tapeworms that are meters and meters and meters long. You know, I'm talking about real long. You know, so when you believe, well, look, that everything is all right, everything is not all right. You know, so you have parasites living inside of you. And the ancient tradition of just cleansing ourselves, the ancient tradition of just taking a simple little dewormer to take off the worms from your physical structure, that is a tradition that our people have actually forgotten. So it's not like as if people are actually cleansing out themselves again, because people focus on giving their dogs a dewormer, but no one takes a time out to actually deworm their own physical structure. So this program, you know, we just want to remind people of the importance, how important it is to take a time out and deworm yourself. You know, you have to deworm yourself. And one thing that worms don't like, no type of parasite, no animal, no parasite loves bitter. Right? So to deal with the worms, you know, you have to utilize ancient practices that our ancestors used to practice. And sometimes, you know, people used to be afraid. I remember there were some young princesses, some girls, when I was at high school, you know, and primary school, when children get worms and when they go to the toilet and the worms start actually, you know, wiggling out, the teacher would have to run to the washroom, you know, to come and help them, you know, and pull out the worm from their anus. And nowadays you're saying, well, that's not happening again. You know, no one is actually, you know, pooping out worms again. And then you might be thinking that this is something good. But this is not good. If it is that you are not pooping out worms again, that means that the worms are still inside of you. Because if it is that you are eating, right, dead animals, you are eating pork, right, you are eating chicken, you are eating all them things, that there's no way you could eat pig meat and you don't have worms, right? The pig, definitely, the eggs of the pig, of the larva of the worms could withstand hundreds of degrees of heat, 200 degrees, right? Definitely, you could you would see that, you know, you could boil that meat and then the worms would still survive, right? You could literally, like fishes, there are certain fishes that after you catch the fish, you cut open the fish and the worms are still wiggling in the fish and you're going to be eating that fish. So what do you expect going to happen to you? If you are eating that, then definitely you are going to have the same types of infections, and these worms are literally going to be within your physical structure, right? So you now, as a man or as a woman, you must understand that you must take that fundamental responsibility, right, of just learning our ancient practices, right? Just learning the ways that our ancestors used to actually deworm every 3 months, right? So it's not something that you have to wait until you have a sign or a symptom, right? It's something that basically that you have to deal with, you know, on a quarterly basis, whereby you don't wait until you are sick, right? You take the natural precaution to ensure that all these worms actually come out of your physical structure. Because if you don't do that, you are going to be a house for parasites. So the parasites are basically going to be, they're going to love living inside of you, right? The parasites would love you. They would live in you. They would actually, you know, come and suck off your blood, you know, and drink it up like as if it's nothing good whatsoever. So you need to actually check yourself, uplift yourself, understand that, look, that you have to, you know, practice sanitary habits and drink lots of bitter herbs. Okay? So this is what you have to utilize. So anciently, what our grandparents used to do, they used to put us on the king of the forest for 7 days, you know. So we'd be drinking the king of the forest for 7 days, right? And then we would be just, you know, drinking king of the forest, drinking king of the forest, drinking king of the forest, drinking for 7 days, every day, you know, during the morning time. And on the 7th night, we'd actually take what you call a laxative to actually cleanse out our physical structure. You know, so nowadays parents don't even deworm their children anymore. You know, we used to get dewormed every 3 months, and we never used to use any type of deworming capsule. We use some castor oil and some what you call semi-contract or semi-contour or wormwood. You know, we used to use them things there to actually deworm our physical structure, right? So what we're going to do now, the time now is 7:48. We are going to take a little intercession, and when we come again, we are going to continue, and we are going to introduce you to one of our powerful products, the dewormer. Definitely our dewormer. That is something that you could use for yourself, you could use for your children, you could use for your pets, you know, you could use for all living things around you. Because if you are deworming your dog, right, and then you are not deworming yourself, that means that you are not understanding your own value. Because if you have a dog and you're deworming the dog and you're playing with the dog and the dog kisses you, remember dogs actually always lick their backsides, you know, A dog will lie down and lick it backside, lick it backside, you know, and then the dog will come to the owner and actually lick the owner, yeah, and kiss the owner, lick the owner. When your dog licking you and all them different type of thing, and the dog just finished licking its own backside, right? What do you think gonna happen to you? You're gonna get these worms from that same dog because the dog is licking its backside and coming to lick you. So to get rid of the parasites, it's imperative that you understand that apart from deworming yourself, you have to deal with your animals around you. Because you never see your dog lie down and lick its backside? The dog will lie down and lick its anus. So the dog will go and poop or free up. And after the dog free up, the dog will lick it backside. The dog's tongue is his tissue paper. The pussycat's tongue is his tissue paper. So the pussycat going to come, and after it free up, it's gonna lick his backside, and then the pussycat gonna come meow 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 and come and kiss the owner and lick up the owner and everything. What do you think? You're gonna get worms, parasite. So you're going to be deworming your dog, you're gonna be deworming your pussycat, and you don't deworm yourself. And after the dog free up, the dog is gonna literally like sit down with its tail lifted up and drag its backside, its anus on the ground because of the itching of the worm, and all the larvae from the worm is gonna be right there on that ground there, definitely. And you're gonna be hugging up and kissing up and caressing up that dog, and then you're not even actually taking care of your own self to ensure that you deworm yourself. So we're gonna take an intercession. When you come again, definitely we'll open up the line so you could give us a call, right? And then we're gonna be looking at our potent dewormer that you need to actually get on mountkailashlou.com. Jah Rastafari, blessed.
This year, we are conducting the 2022 National Population and Housing Census. We will be visiting every house in St. Lucia to conduct the census. When the enumerators visit you, they will introduce themselves, show their ID, their appointment letter, and explain the reason for their visit. Also on the ID, you will see details of the executing agency, which is the Central Statistical Office. They will be dressed in a green shirt, branded with the crest of the St. Lucia 2022 Population and Housing Census. Please cooperate with the enumerators and be truthful with your responses. All information will be treated in the strictest confidence. The information provided is to help government better serve your community. Anu Kote Setlisi.
Bob and Dave were very proud to buy their mom a new energy-saving fridge with lots of smart settings. They remember the old ways of energy saving. Mom always said, "Close the fridge, you're wasting current." Smart advice then, smart advice now. Close the fridge, you're wasting current. Saving energy is what's smart.
Yes. So when it is that you fully understand the whole significance of what you are doing as a man when it comes to deworming yourself, then you ensure that, well, the same way you take care of your dogs, you begin to take care of yourself. Very, 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 very important. So nothing loves beaters. So they deal with worms, you have to actually put in some real bitter bush, bitter herbs into your physical structure. So we gave you the problem, and the solution is your dewormer. So this is a dewormer, right? So the dewormer is one of our products created by us, you know, and this product here, it contains specifically Contract, which is basically one of the most potent, worm removers. Literally just removes the worm, expels the worm. Just the smell of it alone makes the worms run for cover. Literally, you never see worms run for cover? Yeah, man, so the worms would actually run for cover. They'll jump up and run for cover when they hear of the the similar contract. And you have the clove. What the clove does is that for the people who might be afraid of the tingling sensation of the worm coming out of the anus, the clove actually disintegrates the worm, you know, and kills the eggs and the larvae, so you don't have to go through the problem and the fear of feeling that wiggling coming out of your anus. So the lines are open. The lines are open to people who want to actually give us a call. You know, we are going to come down today, you know, in a little bit. 1758-451-9349, 1758-453-1730. So the people who actually want to get the dewormer, go on the website right now, monkilashslew.com. And for the first, the website was just launched, monkilashslew.com. It's pinned right there on the chat, monkilashslew.com. For the first month of operation, you know, which is going to be ending very soon. So from the 7th of July down to the first week strong in August, we have been offering you free shipping, you know, which is going to be ending very soon. So get your dewormer, you know, from monkilashslew.com to actually help to cleanse out your physical structure, right? And it is something that I personally always use. You know, it is something that cyclically, you take it for 7 consecutive days, you know, 1, 2, or 3 times a day, you know, and you stop. So every month you do a 7 days of dewormer cleansing. So you actually deworm your physical structure. So for people with eczema, with psoriasis, with acne, you know, any of these conditions, you could also use the dewormer topically. It's something that you could apply upon your skin. So the dewormer basically contains the semi-contract, the wormwood, the neem, the clove, bitter melon, the vervine, bitter bush, all these different herbs there in organic alcohol as a tincture that you could actually take in to actually help to rid your physical structure of all these parasites. If you want to see worms disintegrate and run out of your physical structure, definitely get the dewormer to help to deworm your physical structure. So the lines are open up, 1758-451-9349 and 1758-453-1730. Can dewormer be... Yes, my brother, yes, go ahead. Yes, I'm hearing you, go ahead. It will be about 40 US. Yes, they could convert it that's for our St. Lucian people. On the website, it's about 70 US, but here in St. Lucia, you could get it approximately about 40% less because you are here in St. Lucia. So this is about 100 and something EC dollars. On Jeremy Street. Yeah. Yes, all there, yes. All right, give thanks. You're welcome, my brother. So those people here in St. Lucia, you could get the dewormer at Livity on Jeremy Street. Those of you in America or England or wherever you are, definitely you could get that on monkilashslew.com. That's monkilashslew.com and order your dewormer. And for this first 21 days of the opening of the website, we are going into the last strong of it. Definitely you would enjoy a full joy, free shipping. So order now, because the shipping, and the money you'd have paid in shipping, you could actually buy 2 dewormers, and also you could take a free up laxative to actually boost up the process. You know, so tonight we are speaking of deworming and removal of parasites. So make your questions be onto that aspect. We're not talking about fixing bald head and these type of things today. Some other time we'll talk about that, so you could ask that question. But we are focusing primarily on just the deworming of the physical structure. So those of you again who want to access that, the dewormer, you know, go to our website, monkilashslew.com. That's montKailashslu.com. You know, and those of you in St. Lucia, definitely you could get that right on Jeremy Street. Get this out of Livity Foods right there on Jeremy Street in Castries, St. Lucia. Right, so the lines are open. I mean, we have 1 more minute until 8. if no one is calling, then we're going to end at 8. If people call, then we're going to go to our 8:40 time. But you don't know how it is. It's a partnership, not a parasitic thing. You can't be a worm. You know, you have to give us a call and say something. You know, I'm going to type in, is the blood detox? No, the blood detox don't do the same thing. You know, the dewormer is different than the blood detoxification, right? The blood detox detoxifies the blood, and the dewormer removes worms. Yes, caller, blessed.
Hi, blessed evening. Good night to you.
How are you doing, my sister?
Our parents have been giving us Epsom salt with coconut water. Would you recommend that as a good practice as a laxative?
Well, our ancestors did use Epsom salt at some time. Yeah, but with coconut water, it's all right, but I would probably tell you just use seawater instead. Plain seawater, it's more natural. You know, we don't know where the Epsom salt is actually coming from. You know, the more control that you have over what you actually take in, the better for you. You know, so for as a colon cleanse, if it's a salt you want to use, you could just use seawater. You know, if it is that you want to use something to cleanse, I would recommend that you use something that could actually lubricate and increase the peristaltic action of the colon, like your cassia alata, the king of the forest, or the senna alata, some castor oil. Definitely this will actually lubricate your intestinal tract also and help to increase the peristaltic action. All right?
Okay.
Okay? Give thanks.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Blessed. So I'm going to pin the number that you have to call for those of you who are overseas. That's the number on the line. I've pinned it for those of you on Instagram. So you could call us live also. As you could see, we are also live on TV in St. Lucia. So that is what it looks like if you are looking at us in St. Lucia. So that's what it is. So you are live. We are live on television. So you are live on Instagram. But we are also live on national television in St. Lucia. So you could actually give us a call, right, and find out about the dewormer. You know, say something to us, definitely. Don't just sit down there and just listen. Yeah? Let us contribute. So this is the dewormer, the product of the hour. Definitely, it's a product that you could actually utilize to deworm your physical structure. If you deworm your dogs, deworm yourself. It's a 100% natural product. You know, all the herbs that are there are herbs that are grown right up at Mount Kailash Rejuvenation Center. Yes, caller, blessed.
Good evening, brother.
Yes, my brother.
And how are you doing today?
I'm blessed, my sister. Give thanks.
Okay. Is the book out yet?
The book is actually coming out in September. Right now, we are actually having pre-orders because we're going to have the first 1,000 copies, you know, are almost fully sold out. The first 1,000 copies coming out in September will be hard copy. You know, so for those of you who don't have your copies, don't pre-order yet. You could those of you in St. Lucia, go at Livity Restaurant and pre-order the herbal manual, or go on our website and pre-order it. And as for the pre-order, you also get free shipping if you pre-order until the ending of this month. We're going to the first strong in August, right? So pre-order it so at least your copies could be reserved for you, because a lot of people are already asking about that. Okay?
Okay, and it's going to be hardcovers, right?
Hardcover, yeah, hardcover.
Okay. Okay, I have one more, question to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Could you help telling me anything that I can use for circulation in the legs?
Turmeric, carpenter bush, japana, yeah, all these things, they are good, okay?
Wow. Okay, turmeric, I know turmeric. The carpenter bush, I don't know the carpenter bush.
You have to come and visit me in the mountain. I'll give you a plant. So you will plant in your beautiful garden.
Yeah, but my vehicle is not in order to drive up there.
Okay. One of these days when I'm passing, I'm going by that beach there, I'll drop it off for you.
Okay, so you mentioned two bushes though.
Chapana and Chapati.
Okay, would you be able to bring both?
I will.
Okay.
Thank
you so much.
You're welcome. Love.
Okay, bye.
Blessed.
Wait. How much is the book?
The book is 100 US pre-order.
Okay.
Afterwards it will be 110.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
I have your first one, but my granddaughter would like to have the second one.
Oh, how is she doing?
She's okay. She's coming fine.
Okay,
we
give
just
thanks.
have to continue, keep her in mind and pray, you know.
Give thanks, my sister.
Right.
All right, love, take care.
Because, you know, the medical field is not an easy style.
Not an easy field at all.
Yeah. Anyway, my brother, just continue, keep up the good work, and may the Lord continue bless you. Because, you know, like I say, I have said that and I will repeat myself. Just lately, I remember that, you know, the herbs almost take off away from us. But I realized that it coming back around, and it didn't do it by itself. So we have a lot to give God thanks for you, and then continue hold on to it no matter what. So you know we're gonna continue pray and ask the Lord to keep you around. God bless. Have a
Give thanks,
night.
my sister. Give thanks for the love.
Okay, bye bye.
Love,
Thank
blessed.
you.
Give thanks. I tried to pre-order the herbal manual, but you don't deliver it. You should try it now. I think that there was some people that was working on the site that was sabotaging that, you know. But now I think you could pre-order from the United. We do deliver to the United Kingdom, so try to pre-order again. Sugar Ray 116. Pre-order again. If you still have the problem, send me a DM and let me know what happens. Okay? So we do pre-order in the United Kingdom. So try to order again. Sugar Ray 116, and let us know what happens. All right? Okay. Greetings from Cabo Verde, Cape Verde, Africa. Give thanks, Honourable, heart of love, or love and prosperity, peace divine. So, Sugar Ray 116, pre-order again. Let me know what's happening. The herbal manual is available in September. Yes, caller, blessed.
Yes, hello, good night, blessed. I'm just asking about the dewormer.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 3-year-old. What can I give him? Because he always wants a biscuit, and I realize what you said, that's true. Like, you know, giving him, like, it used to do me that, a lot of cravings for sweet things. So what can I use to give him? I know I cannot give him the cassierata because, but it make my belly too much.
You could give that anything from 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, they can use the dewormer, right? What you do, you give them 10 drops to a glass of water or half a glass of water, all right? That you could give them that, right? And if the castellata gives you cramps in your belly, what you do, you add a bit of ginger in it to help to calm down.
But you send me to the toilet a lot.
Yeah, but that's the purpose. When you go to the toilet after you take the castellata, what comes out?
Oh, all things I haven't eaten in weeks.
Yeah, things that you haven't eaten in weeks. So isn't it a good thing? It comes out?
I actually mix it with that side over that.
Now I'm asking you, isn't it a good thing that whatever comes out come out?
Yes, wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, so you should be saying, oh, I give thanks. It makes all this poo-poo come out.
Oh, yes, I have. So, yeah.
All right,
but,
my sister.
Another question. Since I am plant-based now. I don't eat any, plant-based. Yes. What can I use, like, to help me, like, to help detox everything I like? Since it's like a month now, I start going plant-based.
Mm-hmm.
What can I actually use to help out my blood and to help me out?
How you will help out?
Okay, like I still having a little craving and
yeah, bitters. Just drink a lot of bitters. As you said, your child is craving sugary things.
Yes.
Is because of parasitic infections, huh?
Okay.
So
and
use.
And he's not speaking as well. And I said that to what you said. I was listening to you earlier on, and that could be true.
That could be true. Huh? Before our parents used to always deworm us, and nowadays we don't deworm our children at all. So just what to do is just for you do the castellata 7 days every month, right?
No problem.
And while you're doing the castellata, you could also do the dewormer. Just get the dewormer, and for your child, you just do the dewormer. If the child is under 5, right? You use 1/3 of the children dose, which is like 1/3 of the 10 drops, which would be like about a 3-point-something drops. The child is over 5, from 5 to 15, right? You could use 10 drops. If they're over 15, then you could use the 30 drops. Almost like an adult dose.
Drop myself. Okay, no
problem. Yeah, okay?
Okay, well, no problem. I'll
all
get
right.
it tomorrow.
Take
no
care.
problem. Thanks a lot.
Give thanks. Blessed. So the dewormer is basically what you need to actually help to take off all these parasites out of your physical structure, all these worms. You know, most people are actually just filled up with worms and they don't even know, because they don't even know the signs and symptoms of parasitic infections, from the itching of the anus, to the nausea, to the fever, to the itchy skin, right? And definitely, as Bush General is saying, she loves the dewormer for her face. The dewormer does really clean out the face, very good. And also when you have cuts and you have bruises and you have these things there, definitely it is something that you could utilize to disinfect, right? Yeah, you can use the dewormer before and after, or after the ganja. It's not a problem at all, all right? So the time now is 9 past. Do we have any more calls, or are we going to call it a day? Remember that the stage is yours and the moment is yours. You know, definitely. Remember, those of you on the internet, you know, you could get our dewormer. I supposed to see people ordering right now. I have not even seen one order actually come. No one have ordered? Why haven't you ordered? You know, you're supposed to have gone to the website and order your dewormer. And remember that the herbal manual, those people who have pre-ordered, we are only printing the first 1,000 copies hardcover, you know, in September. The rest of it definitely would have to be printed, you know, sometime down the line. So it's only the pre-ordered people who have pre-ordered going to get that copy, you know. And as we said, that with the first pre-order set, definitely until the first week in August, you'll literally be getting free shipping, you know. The Kush to one, I have ordered last week. Give thanks. So those of you who've not ordered, definitely pre-order. And if it is that you were having difficulty in ordering from whatever country that you are in, send us an email so at least you could check out our web developers to ensure that everything is in order based upon what they have done. So give thanks for all those of you who have called this evening. Give thanks for those who have messaged. You know, must you detox schooling in local parlance before taking the dewormer? No, you could just deworm, you know, any time. You know, if you feel like you have parasites, you just deworm. You don't have to detox or thing, you know. Even the detox in its own self, right, definitely is different than the dewormer. The dewormer is deworming, not detoxing. It's taking out living parasites, things that are alive within your physical structure, definitely. Well, it's free shipping to Europe and North Africa, anywhere you are, for the first month, ending the first strong, definitely in August. Afterwards, you're going to have to pay the full shipping. Yes, Jassy, yes, Prophet Jimmy, man. You should be in St. Lucia rocking some bingy, long time no city. My Lord, give thanks. You know, so definitely we give thanks for all those of you who have been with us this evening. Give thanks for those of you who actually called from St. Lucia. Give thanks. Remember that the dewormer, get that on mountkailashlou.com. It's a natural product containing all natural ingredients. It's very bitter because, you know, bitter things are very good. Nothing really loves bitterness like that. So it contains your simia contract, your wormwood, your neem, your clove, your bitter melon, also vervine, bitterbush. And the reason it contains the clove is to actually break down and disintegrate the worms, so you don't get that kind of wiggly sensation when the worm is actually coming out of you, right? So make sure that you actually focus on that. Take care of yourself. If you deworm your dogs once every 3 months, at least make sure you deworm yourself also. So don't love your dog more than you love yourself. You know, you have to love yourself more than you love your dog. You know, so if something happens to you and your dog, is your dog gonna die of hunger? You know, so take care of yourself, uplift yourself, ensure that you actually deworm and deworm your children. You know, because lots of people have forgotten the ancient tradition of deworming the children. You have to deworm your children. You know, once every 3 months, you have to deworm your children. So deworm yourself, deworm your children, ensure that you actually remove all these parasites and don't allow it to build up on you. You know, practice good sanitary habits. You know, wash your hands after you urinate. Wash your hands after you defecate. Wash your hands when you go into public washrooms. Don't just touch levers and things. You know, when people pee, if a man is peeing and he shakes his penis, pee splashes all over his hands. All right? If a woman pees, she wipes. You know, if it's tissue, something is going to get. If you poop when you wipe, something going to give. So wash your hands after you practice these things there to safeguard even yourself from reinfecting yourself by putting in more larvae inside of yourself. So when the worms literally send out the larvae and then you wipe, right, what happens is that you are reinfecting yourself with more and more larvae. So give thanks, definitely. We have the dewormer available on KailashLeonce.com. And for those of you in St. Lucia, definitely what's going to happen is that you could also get that dewormer at Liberty on J. Rummy Street. So for any issues of the face, any issues outside, as an antiseptic, also you could use it as an antimicrobial, you can use it, and also as an antiparasitic, anti-emetic, you know. You could actually utilize that to actually cleanse yourself and purge yourself of all these worms, right? So give thanks. Yeah, so you have to just cleanse out yourself. You have to take care of yourself. Make sure that you don't make the worms hug you. Don't make the worms touch you. Don't make the worms wiggle in your body. You know, make sure that you take your time and you cleanse out yourself. You know, you take your time, you wash your hands properly. Take a time out, take care of your children. Don't allow them to actually be food for worms. And sometimes when you see your child always wants sweet things, your child always scratching their anus, your child grinding their teeth, all these things, they always have sleepless nights, always tired, you know, always feeling weak, anemia, and all these different aspects are also signs, nausea, of parasitic infections. And because it's something that is ignored so much, people don't even know when it is that their children are infected with worms. So don't wait until that. Get the dewormer available on KailashLeonce.com, the dewormer. So we're looking out for your orders this evening. Make sure you get your dewormer to deworm yourself. Give thanks for all of you who are with us this evening. Give thanks for life and health and strength. Give thanks for Calabash TV for being with us this evening. Definitely. I mean, you know, we've spoken. Remember, as we said, that I speak, you call, so we could have a communication. If that's not the case, then it becomes a parasitic thing. So it's like, you know, we are behaving like parasites, like worms. All right? So you could use the dewormer in your hands to disinfect. That if you touch some worms, you know, somebody was sitting around here in the studio, so if they had a little worm and they were scratching somewhere, you know, I could, you know, clean out my hands to take care of them worms instead of I allowing them to get within me. Give thanks, Omega I. Long time. Bless up yourself. All those people, Mystical Mayor One. All peace and love. For all those of you who were with us this evening. Who else? Send us some blessing. Tell us where you are contacting from, so we could just give you a blessing right away before we actually just seal up in the last minute that we have. Yes? That's it? Instagram. Christine, give thanks, Kailash, blessed love. Where are you contacting from? Say where you are contacting from. Up to Israel, bless up. Where are you contacting from? Give thanks. That's it. Odessa, Florida, give thanks. Wiser Jonathan. Mystical Calmer, blessed luck from New York. You know, straight out of BC, you know, up Israel, Guyana. Give thanks for all those people who are with us, who have been with us this evening. Remember that we have to deworm. Love and light from Tenerife. Give thanks. Suzanne 7, Belizean in Austin, Texas. Blessed love, give thanks. Melbourne, Australia, thanks for your knowledge. Dusakush, Dr. Has Hanberry Fit. Oh, give thanks from Jamaica. Dr. Harvey. Oh, give thanks, Honourable. Aital Vegan Goddess, give thanks from Beverly Hills, Jamaica. Give thanks, Honourable, and keep up the good works. Give thanks for all those of you who are with us this evening. All love and prosperity, peace divine, and teach people, share the word that people could know well the significance and the importance of deworming. 40 Roses, give thanks from St. Lucia. Enough respect, you know. Queen Black Sheba, Selassie I, give thanks for all those of you who are contacting. No one from China or Japan or Ukraine or Russia, you know, or Taiwan. No one from them countries there. Oh, all right. Argentina, Venezuela, Belize, Chile, you know, Nicaragua, and where are all these people there? You need to share the word. Let people know that they need to take the parasites out of their gut, poop it out, take it out, kill it out, and ensure they follow the principles with their children. Teach your children the importance of deworming, you know. Give thanks again and do have a wonderful evening. God is love. Let us all love. Blessed love.